Hello, and welcome to Coffee Talk with immigration attorney Brian D. Lerner. So, one of my viewers said, can you make a video on what it takes to go from the J1 to get the green card? So, first things first, you have to determine if you're subject to the 2-year foreign residency requirement. So, the J visa, it's an umbrella visa basically. There's lots of different subcategories under the J visa, such as training, internships, teaching, cultural activities, things like that. And so, when a person comes here on J1, it is because there is an agreement essentially between their country and the US that their country wants this person to learn and train on whatever it is they're here for, whether it's medical or whether it's, even an au pair, just different things to learn the culture. And then they want them to go back to their home country and benefit their home country with what they learned. And so that's why many J1s have the 2-year foreign residency requirement, which means that if you come on a J and are subject to this, that you cannot change or adjust your status inside the US until you leave the US for 2 years. Then you can do what you need to do. So when you're issued the visa in the first place, normally if you're subject to the 2-year foreign residency requirement, you'll look on your visa and it will say subject to 212E or subject to the 2-year foreign residency requirement, or it will say not subject to the 212E. So if it says not subject to 212E, then all of the grounds for you obtaining the green card exist. If you fall in love and marry a US citizen, you can apply for adjustment of status. If you have an employer that wants to file a perm petition for you, you can apply for the green card through perm, and then the I-140, then adjustment of status, assuming you're in status the whole time. If you want a work permit and want to switch from J1 to H1B, you can go ahead and do that. Now, the problem arises when you are subject to the 2-year foreign residency requirement. And then most people don't want to leave for the 2 years. They just want to stay here and change and adjust their status. So you have to file a J waiver. Okay. And the J waiver is when essentially you say, oh, I don't really think it's necessary to hold me to this 2-year foreign residency requirement. Please waive the 2 years so that I can either change or adjust my status. And there's different ways of applying for the J waiver. One is a no objection, which from your home consulate basically does not object to you not coming back. One is asylum or persecution based, another is hardship based. So there's all different kinds of ways of trying to get a J waiver approved. So even if you marry a US citizen and have 13 children, you can't apply for adjustment of status in the US on a J unless you have that waiver approved. So do get the waiver approved, and or leave for the 2 years. Now, there is another way. Oh, and by the way, a lot of doctors are here on J1s, and one way they get around that 2-year foreign residency requirement is they basically perform their services in an underserved area for 3 years. And then they can get the 2-year foreign residency requirement taken away and waived at that point in order to go forward. So hopefully this explained a little bit how to do it. Now, let's say you can't get it waived. Well, I mean, you can still file for the perm, for example, and the perm is the beginning of the process for the green card. So even if you file for the perm and you have to leave the United States, it will still continue forward. The perm goes forward, the I-140 goes forward, and then by time 2 years has passed, you'll be able to do consulate processing to come into the US as a lawful permanent resident, even though you had the J visa and you were subject to the 2-year foreign residency requirement. Okay, so that's it for the J visa. Now, on just a couple points about politics and voting. The time to vote is coming up. Do not use a protest vote by not voting or voting for a third candidate. Voting for a third candidate is not a protest vote. It is a waste of your vote because we know one of two people will be president. So even if you don't like Biden, you know he's going to be better in 1,000 different ways than Trump. You know that democracy will not be flushed down the toilet with Biden. And we can all deal, if you don't like his policies, on, he'll be a normal negotiator and try to work across the aisle, but democracy will be saved. It is clear that this is a time in our society when the voting is the most important it has been or will ever be in our lives. And unlike many other things which we don't have control over, we have control to vote. And assuming you're a US citizen, it is one of the greatest democratic powers you have, that as a US citizen, you can walk and vote and change the course of history by doing it. Okay, so do fill out your ballots, do go vote. And if you are by a ballot box, that would probably be the best way, because then Trump can't dispute anything in regards to the ballot box, because while you're still putting it in something that looks like a mailbox, it's not going through the US mail. Okay, more on the coming videos. If you like the video, click like, subscribe, and we'll continue next week. Thank you.